Okay, now the window that you can see here shows the first and main window where you may select different online or offline available resources, including product updates and training materials. You have, of course, to be a registered user to benefit from the online available resources. To check this, click here on the icon Product Updates to see whether your software is up to date or requires installing new patches or packs. You can now select Open to open an existing file or select New to open a new file. We will discuss this in detail further ahead. On the other hand, clicking on the icon Training that you can see here, so this will open a new window, and then selecting Video Tutorials that you can see here, this will populate your screen with different available online training resources that you can see here. I strongly advise you to go through them and have a look. These are essentially short videos covering specific aspects of Aspen Plus. You can also type here a keyword to search for a topic you're interested in. For example, if you are searching for online resources on distillation, type here distillation. Then hit enter, and the results are displayed here. Click on any one, this will open this pop-up window, and click here on this triangle here to see the video. I'm not going to do it now, but I'm only showing you that you have this help here with available online resources that you can have a look at. In addition, you may benefit from offline available resources via clicking on the icon Examples. Let me show you. So here I'm going to close this pop-up window, then go back to Resources and click on the icon Examples. As you can see here, you can select from different prepared case studies. These case studies can be found in the installation folder. For example, in my case, they can be found under C, Program Files, Aspen Tech, Aspen Plus Examples. And these are delivered with Aspen Plus package. Now we will open a new file to start our simulation. Let me first close this window, then click on File, scroll down and click on New. This will open a new template window. Here you can select from different industry-based template: chemical processes, gas processing, metallurgy, polymers, refinery, and others. In our case, we'll select chemical processes. Then we will select specialty chemicals with metric units. Notice here that the other counterpart template, chemical with metric units, differ only in reporting the basis for stream composition and the units for pressure, volumetric flow rate, and rate of energy. For example, here the pressure is expressed in bar. However, in the other template, it is expressed in atmosphere. And here, the volumetric flow rate is expressed in liter per hour, while on the other template, it is expressed in cubic meter per hour. So now select Specialty Chemicals with metric units, then click on Create. The main window of Aspen Plus version 11 shows up. Now, starting our way from the top left corner while moving row-wise to the right horizon until we finally reach the bottom right corner, let's familiarize ourselves with what is seen here in the form of a pane, ribbon, toolbar, status bar, input form, and tab. We briefly introduce each item with the understanding that as you keep digging, you will become more comfortable because each item represents a shortcut key to one of the important features of Aspen Plus. The Quick Access toolbar that you can see here contains the most commonly used functions in Aspen Plus, such as the run, the reset, and next button. Notice that other buttons can be incorporated into this toolbar simply by right-clicking on the desired function found in the Home ribbon or in any other menu of top toolbar and adding it to quick access. So for example, if I want to add the unit sets to the quick access toolbar, I right-click on unit sets, then click on add to quick access toolbar. And here you can see the unit sets in the quick access toolbar. Now if I want to remove it, right-click on it, then click remove from quick access toolbar. Now the top toolbar that you can see here has File, Home, View, Customize, and Resources menus, where each menu has many sub-menu items that appear in the form of ribbon tabs. For example, the Home ribbon contains many tabs. Let's have a closer look. The first Home ribbon tab, called Clipboard, as you can see here, pertains to clipboard functions, such as cut, copy, and paste. The second tab, called Units, deals with the unit sets. You can actually click on unit sets to open the form for entering a new set of your own. For example, you can click here, New, then add a new set of your own. We'll see this in detail further ahead. The third tab, called Navigate, represents the navigation pane, where you can open forms to choose components, select or modify property methods, and create or edit chemistry and property sets. Notice here that this tab has the same functions as those of navigation pane that you can see here, which we'll cover in detail in a few moments. The fourth tab, called Tools, as you can see here, allows you to draw chemical structures to better estimate property parameters for a user-defined component, to make use of the Method Assistant wizard in defining the most suitable property method, and to retrieve or clean model parameters. The fifth tab, called Data Source, deals with seeking additional components data banks, such as NIST, which stands for National Institute of Standards and Technology, and DECEMA, which is Experimental Thermophysical Properties of Pure Substances and Mixtures, but only available on the website. This is a paid service, require an account set up directly with DECEMA. The next tab, called Run Mode, allows you to select the mode of run or simulation. The run modes are Analysis, Estimation, and Regression. In Analysis mode, you may analyze properties of components. In Estimation mode, you may estimate the unknown properties, such as critical properties for a known molecular structure and the model parameters for pure components and mixtures. In regression mode, you may fit the model to data taken from Aspen Plus databanks, or NIST databanks, or DECEMA databanks, or your own databank if you have one. The next tab, called Run, lumps all functions related to the simulation solver, including Next, Run, Reset buttons. The calculation status, so convergence versus divergence, and presence or absence of errors and warnings, can be viewed via clicking on Control Panel, as you can see here. The next tab, called Summary, will become active once you define the property sets and property methods for the selected components. This will allow you to carry out and present both tabulated and graphical types of data analysis for a single, binary, or multi-component system. We'll see this in detail further ahead in this course. Finally, the help-related search text box that you can see here can be used to enter a keyword and let Aspen Plus search for the relevant online resources. Now, clicking on Show Help will bring the built-in offline help database, as you can see here. Okay, let's now go back to the navigation pane. Here is where you can navigate to every stage of the property development process. This pane has a hierarchy from top to bottom of input forms. For example, clicking on Specifications, as you can see here, will open an input form where you can type in process components. We'll get back to this later on. Here you can see the Environment pane, where you are granted the luxury to switch from the properties to simulations, safety analysis, or energy analysis. Those types of environment are explained in detail in later sections. Now, this shows the status bar, where the status indicator is seen, which tells you where you stand in terms of the progress of process simulation, and the button Check Status, which can be used to see the messages issued by Aspen Plus Simulator or Solver. Finally, here you can see the zoom bar, with which you can zoom in or zoom out the input form under concern. After introducing the main features of Aspen Plus main window, let's pinpoint some other issues that will help you better deal with Aspen Plus products. Notice that in the navigation pane that you can see here, there are different color codes adapted by Aspen Plus. For example, a half-filled red circle that you can see here indicates that input data are required for the simulator to proceed. The figure that you can see here, which is available in the downloadable resource section of this course, shows different color-coded symbols used by Aspen Plus. On the other hand, this next figure shows the field color coding for text within input forms used by Aspen Plus. For example, italic blue values are default values in input field where you have not entered the value. Bold blue values are values you have specified. A bright blue outline indicates the field you are currently editing. Black values are results or non-editable values. And finally, gray values on a light gray background are disabled because of other specifications. Now, as shown here, Aspen Plus requires us to enter the components involved in the process. A component can be either picked up from one of Aspen Plus built-in component data banks or can be defined by the user, and in the latter case, it is considered as a non-data bank member. Now, to see the data banks assigned by Aspen Plus, click on Enterprise Database. These data banks that you can see here depend, of course, on the type of template initially chosen. Recall, we have chosen the template Chemical Processes, Specialty Chemicals with Metric Units. You may select, however, one or more from the data banks available on the left side, and add to the list of selected databanks on the right side, using the in-between arrow keys. For example, I can select this one here, acid gas, and add it to the selected databanks by clicking on this arrow here. I can also select this one here and add it to the selected databank. To remove a databank from the selected list, click on the one you want to remove it, for example, this one here, then click on this arrow here. Now, perhaps the tabs here look a little bit different on your software. That's because maybe you don't have the enterprise version. In this case, the prefix APV110 will be dropped from data bank names once you select it in the selected list. And also, the Enterprise Database tab that you can see here will be replaced by simply Data Banks. The following table gives more description on such commonly used pure component databanks. This table is also available in the downloadable resource section. Notice here that the pure databank type, as highlighted here, may change from one version of Aspen Plus to another. For example, Pure 26 is the primary component databank delivered with Aspen Plus version 7 and is retained in the set of databanks for upward compatibility reason. In addition, when you attempt to search for a certain name or chemical formula, as we will see further ahead, then Aspen Plus search engine will look it up in the first databank appearing on the right side, as you can see here, followed by the second, and so on.